3 weeks remain in the 2012-2013 boys high school basketball season. And for head coach Joe Paredes' Decatur Central Hawks, well, they've already taken care of one goal this season. They are the Mid-State Conference champions. Now it's a bit about building some momentum as they head into sectionals. But with 3 weeks left to play, Hawks only have 3 games remaining, and one of them is tonight here on AudioSportsOnline.com. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hawks basketball on ASO. My name is Brian Scott. We welcome you to Decatur Central High School as the Hawks tonight 11-5 on the season, and winners of their last 3 will take on the Franklin Central Flashes on ASO. As I mentioned, Decatur Central coming off of a victory last week. They knocked off Beech Grove by the score of 77-63. Don't let the score fool you. At times, Beech Grove managed to battle back in that game. They trailed by as few as 4 points in the first half. They got it to within about 5 in the second half before Coach Paredes' Hawks was able to put them away. But a spirited run by Beech Grove. They were down big at the break and then had a very strong third quarter to make a game out of it. But eventually the Hawks win that one, pulling away by the score 77-63. Anthony Johnson with 23 points in that contest. 4 Hawks in double figures in scoring. Lucaeus McNeil with 18. Jimmy Lee had 11. Jason Starks had 10 points as the Hawks won their 3rd straight after winning the Mid-State Conference Championship that weekend. And they take that 3-game winning streak tonight as they face the Franklin Central Flashes. The Flashes 7-8 on this season as Coach John Rocky's Flashes been a bit of an up-and-down year, just haven't been able to stay into the game any momentum. Win 2, lose 3, trade wins and losses. They won 2, and now they've lost 2 as they played last week against Lawrence Central. They fell to the Bears by the score of 61-50. Lucas Huffman, paced the Flashes with 12 points, 9 points from Forrester Sims, and 8 points from Jake Barris. They got balanced scoring throughout in that contest, but simply not enough to keep up with the Bears. And the Flashes fell to, again, 7-8 on the season. So 3 weeks remain, and for the Hawks, 2 of these 3 games here at Decatur Central. Of course, we'll have the game tonight with Franklin Central. The Hawks will travel to Brownsburg in what could be an intersectional matchup on the 16th, and then they will close out the regular season February 21st as they host Bloomington South. Senior night on the 21st in the season finale for Decatur Central. A Thursday night game, boys basketball as girls sectionals underway as the Lady Hawks, that many of you watched last night, fell in the sectionals to Ben Davis, so their season has come to a close.
At this time, we present our national anthem.
Before we give you our starting lineups and our particulars, let's have tonight's national anthem. That's the Decatur Central Pep Band with tonight's national anthem as we get ready for basketball between the Hawks and the Flashes here on Audio Sports Online. I want to remind fans that all of our video webcasts of Decatur Central basketball are also available not only from the AudioSportsOnline.com main site, but through our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, look up audiosportsonline.com, and all of the video casts that we have had all season long of Decatur Central basketball. Both the boys and the girls are available on YouTube. Post them to Facebook, send them to Twitter, email them with friends and family, all courtesy of audiosportsonline.com. Hawks have taken the court as we get ready for basketball now. The Flashes making their way out of the locker room. Let's give you our particulars for tonight. Again, Franklin Central comes in with a record of 7-8. They've lost their last two contests, including a game last week against Lawrence Central, which the Flashes fell by the score of 61-50. The head coach of the Flashes is John Rocky. He's 23 and 25 in his third year at the helm of Franklin Central. His lineup tonight will have a pretty much a very traditional feel, which something is kind of a rarity here in high school basketball. 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. Starting at a guard, a 6'2 senior, Forrester Sims. The other guard is a 6'5 junior, Lucas Huffman. At small forward, a 6'3 junior, Luke Barris. At the power forward, a 6'3 junior, Jacob Malone. And the man in the middle is the 6'5 senior, Tyler Malone. In the backcourt, once again for the Flashes, it'll be Sims and Huffman. And up front, Barris, Malone, and Jacob Malone and Tyler Malone. Those are the starters for the Franklin Central Flashes. For the Decatur Central Hawks, they have a record of 11-5. They are your Mid-State Conference champions. The head coach is Joe Prada, 11-5 in his first year at the helm of the Hawks, and 51-77 in his 6th year overall. His starting lineup will be a familiar one for Hawks fans, starting at a guard, a 5'11 sophomore, Adam Prada. At the shooting guard, a 6'3 senior, Anthony Johnson. At the wingman position, a 6'3 senior, Jimmy Lee. At forward, a 6'7 junior, Lucius McNeil, and the other forward is a 6'7 senior, Jason Starks. So once again for the Hawks, Prada and Johnson in the backcourt, Lee, Starks, and McNeil up front. Those are your starting 5 for the Decatur Central Hawks. Hawks tonight come in, again, as I mentioned, with a record of 11-5. The Hawks are averaging about a little 68 points per game, and they give up a little over 62.5 points a game. Well, Franklin Central comes in tonight's action scoring a little over 56.5%, 56.5 points, and giving up almost 57.5 points per game. Decatur Central, again, scoring hasn't been a problem, and over these past few games, they've been averaging almost 70 points per game, or over 70 points per game. A big part of that, a win against Plainfield a few weeks ago, 87-59. Then they defeated Whiteland in the game that turned out for the Mid-State Conference Championship, 62-47, and then defeated Beech Grove 77-63. So the Hawks, they've been putting points on the board. One of the things I'm sure Coach Joe Prada would like to see the Hawks do a better job at is staying a little bit better focused. They tend to get into early leads, lose a little bit of their focus, play a little bit of sloppy ball. That's been allowing some opponents at times to make a bit of a comeback. They'd like to see a good 32 minutes of basketball played with high intensity levels throughout this contest. Again, for the Hawks, they're going to have to keep intensity up because they'll only be playing 3 games in 3 weeks as this season winds down. It'll be critical. They won't be having the game experience that some other teams will be having as they get ready for sectional play. Decatur Central shooting on the season a little over 54% from the field, 38% from beyond the arc, and that's where Jimmy Lee and Anthony Johnson have been daggers against opponents so far this season. Not a bad job from the free throw line. A 68% free throw shooting team are the Hawks, and they average pulling down a little over 27 points or 27 rebounds per game. The Franklin Central leading scorer, they have 4 players that are in double figures, but all of them right around that 10 to 11 mark. Lucas Huffman, Jacob Malone, Jalen Dell, and Forrester Sims. All of them average just slightly over 10 points, with Forrester Sims pacing the Flashes, averaging a little over 11 points per contest. So it's a balanced scoring attack that we see out of the Flashes. We'll see how that stacks up here tonight against a very, very talented Decatur Central squad. Anthony Johnson leads the Hawks with over 25 points per contest. We'll see if he can keep that up here tonight. Hawks will be in the white. Franklin Central will be in the blue as you look on your monitors. So sit back. We hope you enjoyed tonight's action on Audio Sports Online. Again, my name's Brian Scott. Welcome to Decatur Central High School. As it'll be Lucas McNeil jumping center against Tyler Malone. And the Hawks control the tip. They'll have the basketball to begin this contest. And they'll look over a Franklin Central 2-3 zone. Prada over the top finds Anthony Johnson. Johnson back up top, Jimmy Lee, and they swing the ball around and looking to reverse it. Prada in the lane, jump pass finds Johnson. 3 top of the key on its way. Off the back of the iron, no good. Rebounded by Lucas Huffman. And the Flashes will have their first go at it from the offensive end. They'll feed it down low immediately into the low post. Malone nowhere to go with Lucas McNeil fronting him, and they move the ball around. This time they get it over to Jacob Malone. Malone dips in, throws it up off the glass, and Jacob Malone and the Flashes are first on the scoreboard tonight. They lead 2-0 as we have played a little over 50 seconds of basketball here in this first quarter. Down low they find Jason Starks. Starks nowhere to go with it, tries to muscle it up. Good defense there by Tyler Malone as the big man just fronted Starks. And Malone at 6'5", able to keep the 6'7" Starks at bay. And they'll say the ball went off of Starks. Here's a poke away by Lee, but right into the hands of Malone. But here's a steal by Anthony Johnson. He runs out, reach in from behind, is trying to knock the ball away was Lucas Huffman. And the first foul of this contest is going to go against Huffman.
Foul on 32, Lucas Huffman.
At the line, Anthony Johnson for the Hawks, an 84% free throw shooter on the season, as his first free throw is up and good. One more free throw for Johnson. And he misses the second one. There's McNeil with a rebound. Strong move right back to the cup. And Lucas McNeil has the first bucket from the field, and the Hawks lead the Flashes 3-2. 6:38 left to go in the opening quarter. Driving in the lane. Right-hand runner is left short by Huffman. And the ball finally comes out of there is Adam Prada. Prada is clobbered from behind. As coming to get the basketball and knock it away. But getting a little too eager in the process is Jake Barris, his first, team second. And Prada will take the ball out from the baseline. 3-2, Hawks with a lead. Finds McNeil, and McNeil swings it around to Johnson, right back to Prada. Prada feeds it down low to McNeil. McNeil, fronted by Tyler Malone, sends it back out to Prada, and Adam Prada has a three-point basket from the wing. Adam shooting better than 46% from beyond the arc on the season, his 21st three-point basket, and the Hawks lead 6-2. Here's a shot, top of the key from a long ways out is Jake Barris. As he hits the long-range three, Barris, the three-point sharpshooter for Franklin Central, hits from about 35% from beyond the arc. Driving right side of the lane, Jason Starks. And a whistle and a foul. This one's going to be the first foul against Decatur Central. And Lucas McNeil will pick up the first Hawk foul. 5:44 left to go, opening quarter, 6-5. Hawks lead, but the Flashes have the basketball as they bring it into the front court. They'll swing it back around top with the basketball. Lucas Huffman, he swings left side to Forrester Sims. Sims drive, and as he drives the lane, he's going to be fouled. And the foul is going to go against Anthony Johnson, his first, and that's going to send Sims to the line for a pair of free throws. Sims, a 73% free throw shooter. Flash is a 67% as a team, and Sims hit the first of two. Over the past 15 years, Franklin Central has really given the Hawks fits. They are 15-3 over the past 15 years as Sims hits the second free throw to put the Flashes back out on front 7-6. It was the Flashes with the win last year down at Franklin Central, 65-52. Prada looks at this 2-3 zone, gives it to Johnson. Johnson will dribble it back and give it to Prada right side. Feeds down low. Here is Lucaeus McNeil, and as he makes a move to the cup, a whistle and a foul, and we'll go against Franklin Central. Tyler Malone will be credited with his first personal, third team foul, and Lucaeus McNeil is at the line to shoot two. Lucaeus, a 59% free throw shooter on the season. He's got 2 points. He had the first bucket from the field for the Hawks, and he's at the line to shoot a pair. Hits the first one, and it clangs out. And we'll see if Lucaeus can hit the back again. 7-6. Flashes have the lead. McNeil trying to even it up with a free throw. That one clangs off the back iron, no good. Sims with a rebound for the Flashes. Into the front court comes to Malone. Jacob Malone back to Sims. Gets a screen. Pulls up, goes right side. Lucas Huffman up top. This is Tyler Malone. Big man up on top, feeds left side to Sims. Sims guarded by Starks. Makes a move into the lane, lays it off for Malone. Malone over to Jacob Malone. Back to Sims, just in front of the arc. Shot no good. Skying up top is Jake Barris, but he can't control the rebound. It'll go off of Barris, and the ball will go back into the hands of Decatur Central, trailing 7-6 with 4:32 remaining in this opening quarter of play. Brian Scott with you from Decatur Central High School. Glad you could join us for Hawks basketballs. Anthony Johnson, right wing, works against Sims, gives it to Jimmy Lee up top. Starks intercepted a pass that was intended for Prada, but he hands it right back to him. Johnson, left wing, as the Flashes stay in this 2-3 zone. Jimmy Lee, long-range three, on its way. That's a little strong. Rebound comes down to Sims for the Flashes. Sims, pull-up jumper, no, pulls it back down. They send it out. Huffman's three is no good. Rebounded by Tyler Malone. Right-hander is short. Ball is loose, and Anthony Johnson comes away with it for Decatur Central. Still 7-6, and as Johnson goes in the lane, he's going to be tied up, and on the held ball, the ball will go over to the Flashes. Substitution as Franklin Central will see Jalen Bell enter the contest. Lucas Huffman will take a seat. 3:47 left to go first quarter. Flashes lead the Hawks 7-6. As Sims sends it up to Barris, to Jacob Malone, back to Bell, back to Sims. Sims left elbow, sends it to the corner. Three ball on his way is up and good by Jake Barris. His second bucket is his second three. He has 6 points and a 4-point lead for Franklin Central. Left side, Jimmy Lee to Prada. Prada back to Lee. Lee looks at Starks over the top of the zone to Johnson. Johnson drives baseline, tries to put it up, and he's going to be called for traveling. Johnson expecting contact and a foul against Tyler Malone. It didn't come. As C.B. Bennett now in for Jason Starks, and Lucas Huffman re-enters the lineup for Coach John Rocky. Flashes, he'll take over for Jake Barris. The 10-6 Flashes lead, 3:09 left to go in this first quarter. Sims, right side, finds Huffman. Up top, this is Jacob Malone, back to Huffman. Huffman thinks about the three as the Hawks go to their 2-3 zone. They feed down low in the paint. That was Jacob Malone who went up with it. And the foul is going to be called against Jimmy Lee. Jimmy's first, team's third, and they will say that it was Tyler Malone that was fouled on the shot. And Malone is at the line to shoot two, and short arms the first. Malone on the season, a 55% free throw shooter. As Jake Barris will return should he make this free throw, and he does. So Malone sits after hitting the second free throw, and Barris re-enters the lineup. Flashes lead 11-6, 2:50 left to go. They'll go to a 2-2-1 press. This is Anthony Johnson with a basketball. And he will feed C.B. Bennett. Bennett right side to Prada. Prada in the front court. Trapped on the sideline, and a blocking foul called against the Flashes. It'll go against Forrester Sims, his first, team's fourth. And Jimmy Lee will take it out from the sideline across from us. Gives it to Prada, and Prada will give it back to Lee. 11-6, Flashes with the lead. Hawks with the ball, 2:37 left to go first quarter. Baseline drive, Anthony Johnson, too strong off the glass. Rebound controlled by Jake Barris. Stolen away, here's Anthony Johnson with a layup. Anthony Johnson with his first bucket from the field. He has 3 points, and it's a 3-point lead for the Flashes. Into the front court, they get it to Barris. Skip pass over the top to Huffman. Huffman to Sims. Sims to Bell. Bell sends it back out. Driving right side, leaving it short is Huffman, but getting the loose ball. The putback no good. Jalen Bell's shot no good. And finally, Lucius McNeil secures the orange for the Hawks. Under 2 minutes left to go first quarter, 11-8, Flashes with the lead. Hawks have had a brief lead, but the Flashes have led for most of this quarter. Johnson, top of the key, right side, finds Jimmy Lee. Lee, they're trying to get down low to McNeil, who's got a size advantage. Lee in the lane finds C.B. Bennett. Bennett to Prada. 3-ball on the way is up and good. Adam Prada with 6 points, both of them from long range, and we're tied at 11 with 1:25 left to go first quarter. Here's a long-range three, shot no good by Huffman, and as Lucius McNeil gets the rebound, a whistle and a foul will be called against Franklin Central's Jacob Malone, his first, team's fifth. Tyler Malone will come in for Jacob Malone as the Hawks will have the basketball as Prada departs. TJ Helm now in for Decatur Central. 1:18 left to go in this first quarter. We're tied at 11. As Johnson will run the point, goes left side to Lee. Jimmy Lee back to Johnson between the circles. Drives right side, backs it out. Pull-up jumper on its way. Shot a little strong. Bell can't get the rebound, but there's C.B. Bennett for the Hawks. And he'll get the putback and put the Hawks back out in front by 2. Under a minute left to go in the first quarter. Bell, right side, finds Barris. They'll feed it down to Tyler Malone. Malone drives baseline. Shot no good. A whistle underneath as there's a fight for the rebound, and this looks like it might go against Jimmy Lee. That'll be his second. So Lee picks up personal foul number 2. It's the 4th team foul against the Hawks. Lee will depart, and Adam Prada will return. Huffman to inbounds with the Flashes trailing by 2 with 40 and 4/10 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. They'll throw it into the backcourt. Get it right side. Barris finds Bell. They go left side. Huffman drives baseline. He will shoot over Lucius McNeil. And Huffman will get the basket to tie this game at 13. A strong move as Huffman manages to float over top. And the Hawks will hold for the final shot here, tied at 13 with 15 seconds left to go in the quarter. Bennett with 9 seconds. 7 seconds, still waiting. Now they run it. 4 seconds. Bennett right side. Loses the basketball, gets it back, puts it up at the buzzer, leaves it short. And that's how the first quarter ends as Decatur Central leads Franklin Central by we are tied at 13. This is Hawks basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight on AudioSportsOnline.com. After the first 8 minutes of play, we are all tied at 13. Each team led by a player that's hit 2 threes. For the Flashes, Jake Barris with 6 points on a pair of long-range bombs. And for the Hawks, Adam Preda, the same. 6 points on 2 long-range threes. For the Flashes to begin quarter number 2, it will be Sims, Jacob Malone, Tyler Malone, Jake Barris, and Lucas Huffman. That's their starting 5. And for the Hawks, as they'll have the ball to begin the second quarter, Preda, C.B. Bennett, Anthony Johnson, Jason Starks, and T.J. Helm. Flashes have stayed pretty much in this 2-3 zone the entire game so far, or at least the first 8 minutes of it. They feed down low, Helm back up top. Anthony Johnson stutter step, drives in the lane, nowhere to go. He will shoot over the top of the defense, and a fadeaway is good by Anthony Johnson. Johnson with 5 points on a nice little fadeaway over the top of the defense. And the Hawks lead by 2 over the Flashes. Sims, right side, gives it to Huffman. Huffman up top. They move the basketball around. Huffman driving down the lane, stripped from behind. T.J. Helm gets the off of Barris. But here come the Flashes getting the basketball right back. Sims, long-range 3, top of the key, no good. Starks can't quite control the rebound, but coming away with it is C.B. Bennett for Decatur Central. Hawks up by 2, just a little over a minute into the second quarter. Helm to Johnson. Johnson, top of the key. Long-range 3 on its way, halfway down, comes back out. Malone with the rebound as the Flashes get it in the front court. Sims finds Tyler Malone near the free throw line. He'll send it left side to Jake Barris. And out top to Lucas Huffman. Huffman has it slapped away by Helm as he was trying to go right back to Barris over on the left wing. And Helm anticipated the pass, knocked it out of bounds. Flashes have the ball trailing by 2, 6:27 left to go, first half. Huffman, as Flashes will look at the Hawk 2-3 zone. Hawks started in man-to-man, went to a zone. Here is Tyler Malone. Malone finds driving right through the middle of the lane Lucas Huffman. Huffman finishes it off with a layup, and we're once again tied, this time at 15. Preda down in the corner to Starks. Starks finds Helm driving the lane. Errant pass is knocked away by Tyler Malone. Here come the Flashes in the lane. Jacob Malone from 6 feet. His shot no good. Johnson with a rebound. Long outlet pass finds T.J. Helm, and Helm is able to finish off the break with the bucket as the Hawks get a bucket in transition to retake the lead, 17-15. Tyler Malone down in the low post, sends it back out. Here's Jacob Malone. Right elbow misses badly. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul called against against Franklin Central. It'll go against Tyler Malone. That'll be his second, team foul number 6. Antoine Jackson will come in for Tyler Malone, and Lucius McNeil returns. He'll come in for Anthony Johnson. A 2-point Hawk lead, 17-15, 5:25 left to go in this second quarter. As Bennett will give it to Stark, top of the key. Leaves it to McNeil at the free throw line, left side. T.J. Helm, jumper, sticks in the corner, then falls down. Sims with a rebound, forces it up the court. Looked like he was going to try to lay it off to the right side to Lucas Huffman, but a reach-in foul is going to be committed by Helm. His first, team's 5th. Jimmy Lee now back in. He will come in for C.B. Bennett, and Jacob Malone will depart. Jalen Bell back in for the Flashes. On the inbound, they find Antoine Jackson on a nice little inbound play, and we're tied at 17. Neither team has been able to get more than about a 4-point lead. As they feed McNeil. McNeil touch pass finds Starks driving left side of the lane. And Jason Starks has his first points of the game. 19-17, Hawks with the lead. As the Flashes get it into the front court, they'll lay it down. Nice bounce pass, and going up strong with it is Jalen Bell, surrounded by 4 Hawks, managed to get that one on the glass and get the bucket. Tied at 19, 4:23 left to go first half. Over the top, they find Jimmy Lee. Lee back to Helm. Helm with a nice little right-hander in the lane. And TJ Helm now with 4 points to make it a 21-19 Hawk advantage as we're about midway through the second quarter. Driving to the cup is Lucas Huffman, and a whistle will stop play, and a foul is going to be called against the Hawks. Jason Starks will pick up his first, team 6th. So both teams on their next team foul will have the opponent shooting the bonus, but right now at the line will be Lucas Huffman. First free throw is up. It's good. Huffman, a 67% free throw shooter, as Jake Barris leaves and Marcus Burke now in. Adam Prada comes in for TJ Helm. And Anthony Johnson is in for Jason Starks as Huffman hits his second free throw. Huffman now with 6 points, tied at 21 midway through the second quarter. Adam Prada with the basketball. Right side to Jimmy Lee as now the Flashes go man-to-man. Been going primarily zone, but now they'll go man-to-man. Driving right side of the lane, high off the glass. Shot no good by Bennett. McNeil's putback is no good. Lucaeus gets it, puts it back up and in, and one. McNeil with the bucket, and the foul will go against the Hawks, or against the Flashes, and put the Hawks McNeil on the line as the foul is against Antoine Jackson. His first, team foul number 7. And McNeil at the line for the and one. Misses the free throw as Jackson has the rebound for Franklin Central. Into the hands of Huffman, back up to Sims in the wing. As Huffman and Sims playing on the near side, now skips over the top to Burke. Back to Sims as the Hawks will stay in the man-to-man. They find Huffman, kicks it back out. Good defense on the run out, but they leave Sims alone. Sims' 3 is no good. Ball loose underneath, and finally Anthony Johnson comes away with it and finds C.B. Bennett, who had ran out, and the Hawks get another bucket in transition to lead by 4 with 3:06 left to go in the first half. Decatur Central leads Franklin Central by the score of 25-21. This is Hawks basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com.
Get your Hawks spirit on. The winter clearance sale has begun. Check it out.
Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you as we have 3 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. Decatur Central with a 25-21 lead. Another transition bucket for the Hawks. Have given their biggest lead of the night at 4 points. TJ Helm with a couple of buckets here in this second quarter. Anthony Johnson also now with 5 points as the Flashes have the basketball, trailing by 4. Huffman to Sims. They go left side into the hands of Burke. Burke dribbles, finds Huffman once again. Hawks in this 2-3 zone, and we have a whistle and a foul on the play. Let's see who this goes against. If it's against Jimmy Lee, that's his third. But they'll get Anthony Johnson. Johnson with his second personal 17 foul, so the Flashes are in the bonus shooting the 1-and-1. And deciding who they're going to put on the line, it looks like it's going to be Huffman. So Lucas Huffman, who just made 2 free throws, back at the line with a 1-and-1. First free throw clangs out, ball loose. Jimmy Lee comes away with it for the Hawks. Hawks lead by 4, 2:44 left to go in the first half. Left side, Anthony Johnson with the basketball as he will give it to Jimmy Lee, and the Flashes stay man-to-man. Nice bounce pass. They find C.B. Bennett. Nice little up and under move, but the shot is strong, and the Flashes come away with a rebound. Sims up top. Antoine Jackson leaves it left side. Burke loses his balance, but they're going to have a push called against C.B. Bennett. Bennett will be called for his first 8th foul against the Hawks, as Jason Starks will come in for Bennett, and at the line for Franklin Central will be Marcus Burke. Burke is perfect on the season from the foul line, but he's attempting only his 5th free throw. 1-and-1 in effect. Burke hits the first. Tyler Malone back in. He will come in for Antoine Jackson. Malone with 2 fouls. Second free throw by Burke is good, so Burke still perfect on the season. 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and it makes it a 2-point Hawk lead, 25-23. 2:14 remains in the first half. Prada with the basketball. Bounce pass right side. Jimmy Lee back to Prada. Prada between the circles, goes left side to Johnson. Johnson, left-hand dribble, drives, puts it up with the right hand, off the back iron, no good. Sims with a rebound for the Flashes. Sims gets a ball screen, and now we'll set up the offense and give the ball off to Jalen Bell. Bell right side, down to Burke. Burke to Tyler Malone. Malone caught underneath, and he'll be called for traveling. Malone got caught underneath the basket, and he made one too many steps as TJ Helm comes back in. Anthony Johnson will leave for Coach Joe Prada's Hawks. Decatur Central leads 25-23. They'll have the basketball in 1:42 left to go in this first period. Prada, right side to Lee, as now the Flashes go back to the zone, but Jimmy Lee says, I don't worry about passing around the zone when I can hit a 3 from the corner to push the Hawk lead up to 5. 1:22 left to go, first half. Burke with a basketball, double team comes, tries to get to Malone, poked away by Lucius McNeil. Bounce pass Prada, trying to get the trailer, Jason Starks. It was poked away. TJ Helm tried to save it, but it goes out of bounds and will belong to Franklin Central. Jake Barris and Jacob Malone will return for the Flashes as Lucas Huffman and Marcus Burke will take a seat on the bench. 1:10 left to go in the first half. Hawks up by 5. Flashes with the basketball. Sims gives the ball up. Top of the key is Jake Barris, back to Sims. As the Hawks in that 2-3 zone. Here's a 14-foot baseline jumper. It's no good. Ball is loose, and trying to get the basketball was TJ Helm, and he ran right into Tyler Malone. It'll be Helm's second, team 9th, and Malone at the line. Tyler Malone with only 1 point so far in this contest, coming from the line where he split 2 free throws earlier, and he hits the first of the 1-and-1. 54.6 seconds remain in this first half, as Malone will see if he can complete the back end of the 1-and-1. And he hits front iron and gets the roll. Malone now will sit down with those 2 personals as Antoine Jackson returns. And the Hawks will have the basketball up by 3, 28-25. Prada around a high ball screen, goes left side, finds Helm, back to Prada. Prada left side, Helm over the top, finds Jimmy Lee, and Lee was standing on the sideline when he got the pass, and they called him for being out of bounds. Tyler Malone now, a little offense defense, now that the Flashes might have a chance for the final shot here of the half. He's back in. C.B. Bennett in. They'll get Jimmy Lee out as Lee has 2 personal fouls himself. Lee and Johnson on the bench with 2 fouls. Final 37 seconds as the Flashes look to get it into the front court, which they do. Find Tyler Malone. Malone underneath finds Jalen Bell. And quickly the Flashes can't ignore a golden opportunity like that to beat the press and get an easy bucket. They trail by 1. And now it's the Hawks who will play for the final shot of the first half, leading 28-27, 8 seconds remaining. Bennett making a move, drives, leaves it right side. Prada has to get rid of the basketball. 2 seconds, 1 second, lays up, puts up a three. It's off the side of the rim, no good. And that's the end of the first half. Low-scoring game for Decatur Central as compared to what they've been putting up, but they'll head to the break. Still up on Franklin Central. Decatur Central 28, Franklin Central 27. Check back in about 6 minutes. We'll have halftime stats. This is Hawks basketball on audiosportsonline.com.
And now it is my pleasure to present to you your 2013 Decatur Central Dance Team.
She said, "Hey baby, I'm taking for a ride."
Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight. We're at halftime as Decatur Central leads Franklin Central by the score of 28-27. The Hawks haven't quite been able to get off to that good offensive start like they usually do, as Franklin Central has started out this game pretty much in a zone, limiting the touches that the Hawks were able to get down low inside the paint. Franklin Central led through pretty much most of the first quarter before Decatur Central tied it up late, as we were tied at 13 after the end of the first quarter, and at the break it is the Hawks up 28-27. Let's go ahead and take a look at our halftime statistics. First off, for visiting Franklin Central, leading, they have two players that have 6 points apiece, Lucas Huffman and Jake Barris. 4 points for Jalen Bell, 3 points for Tyler Malone, 2 points each from Forrester Sims, Marcus Burke, Antoine Jackson, and Jacob Malone. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, they got 6 points from Adam Preda. He had a pair of threes in the first quarter, but hasn't hit anything since. 5 points from Anthony Johnson. 4 points each from TJ Helms, C.B. Bennett, Lucius McNeil. 3 points from Jimmy Lee and 2 points for Jason Starks. Nobody in serious foul trouble, though the Hawks were a little limited with Anthony Johnson and Jimmy Lee. They got 2 fouls earlier in that second quarter, and Coach Joe Preda limited their touches in that second quarter. TJ Helm also has 2 personals for the Hawks. And the only player with 2 fouls for John Rocky's Flashes is Tyler Malone. He has a pair, nobody with more than 1. For the Flashes, excellent job from the charity stripe. They hit 8 of 10 from the line, whereas the Hawks only managed to get to the line 5 times and only hit 1 free throw in those 5 attempts. Yet the Hawks still lead by 1 as we get ready for second half action here on AudioSportsOnline.com. Our next Hawk broadcast will be next Saturday as Decatur Central travels to Brownsburg to take on the Bulldogs. What could be a sectional preview matchup. Tip-off for that game will be at 7:30. Rob Kendall will be back. He'll have the call for that game between the Hawks and the Bulldogs of Brownsburg. Decatur Central already the Mid-State Conference champion, 11-5 overall, 6-0 in the conference. As other games of this week, with a full plate tonight, Franklin is at New Palestine, Greenwood at Edinburgh, Mooresville at Monrovia, and Perry Meridian at Martinsville. And with girls sectional semifinal actions around the state tomorrow, there will be no boys games involving Mid-State Conference teams. Columbus North will play at Franklin in a rare boys Saturday matinee, as well as Danville at Mooresville at 12:30 and Whiteland at Shelbyville at 2:30. So all the boys games on Saturday will be in the afternoon due to girls sectional championships being played Saturday night. It will be the Flashes with the ball to begin the second half, and they will have their starting 5, Forrester Sims, Lucas Huffman, Jake Barris, Jacob Malone, and Tyler Malone on the court. As Sims bounce pass over to Barris. And now he will get the ball back, and the pull-up 3 from Forrester Sims is up and good. To put the Flashes back out in front, 30-28. Preda, baseball pass, finds Anthony Johnson. Pull-up jumper, turnaround jumper is no good. Here come the Flashes the other way. We'll set up the Hawk offense and Hawk lineup in just a moment. Malone left side. It is Anthony Johnson, Adam Preda, Jason Stark, Lucius McNeil, and Jimmy Lee. That's the starting 5 for Coach Joe Preda. About 60 seconds into quarter number 3, as Flash is showing good patience. They got a Sims 3 to start this quarter. They're up by 2. Nice little hesitation, then gets Starks with a runoff. Huffman can't get the first basket, can't get the putback, and now the Flashes send it around. And as Tyler Malone gets the ball at the free throw line, trying to hit Lucas Huffman cutting toward the basket. The ball's knocked out of bounds by the Hawks. And Forrester Sims will inbound from the baseline. Flash is up by 2, 6:40 left to go in this third quarter. Jake Barris, they get the ball back to Sims. Sims finds Malone, double team comes. He'll give it back to Sims. Sims bounce pass into the lane for Jacob Malone, but it's stolen away. Here's Anthony Johnson, left side to Prada. Prada will lay it up off the glass. And another transition basket for Decatur Central ties the game at 30. Hawks have capitalized in transition when they've had the opportunity. And that transition basket ties the game at 30 points apiece. Sims with the basketball, left side, Huffman. Huffman wanted to dump it down low, instead sends the ball back out. Jacob Malone been filling toward the top. Now they find Jacob Malone underneath. They'll send it right back out. Barris with a 3-ball. His shot no good. Lucius McNeil with a rebound for the Hawks. Jimmy Lee will bring it up right side. And now leave it off to Adam Prada. 5:36 left to go third quarter. Tied at 30. Johnson drives in the lane, finds big Tyler Malone standing in the lane, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called against Malone. That's his third. First team foul against the Flashes here in the second half, and Johnson's at the line to shoot 2. Hawks only 1 of 5 from the free throw line in the first half, and the one free throw was by Johnson. And he has that one come up short on the front rim. So Johnson with one more free throw. And he gets that one to go over the front of the rim. Tyler Malone will have to leave with 3 personal fouls. Jalen Bell now in for Coach John Rocky's Flashers. Decatur Central leads 31-30. But the Flashes have the basketball. Left side finds Barris, and they'll swing the ball around. Down low, this is Jalen Bell. Baseline, send it back out to Sims. Cutting in there, nice touch pass. They leave it off to Jalen Bell, and Bell finishes it off. Nice touch pass coming from Jacob Malone. Finds Bell baseline, and now the 2-2-1 press. But the Hawks manage to get it. Lucius McNeil finds Anthony Johnson. 3 in a corner is up and good. (34-32) our score, with 4:47 left to go in the third quarter. Sims with the basketball, drives right side, lays it up high off the glass. Shot no good. Jacob Malone's putback is no good. Johnson on the run out, loses it briefly. Running the lane is Jason Starks. They'll wave off the basket, but a whistle and a foul is going to be called against the Flashes. Jalen Bell will pick up foul number 1, second team foul against the Flashes. And that'll send Jason Starks to the line to shoot 2. Jason with only 2 points so far in this game, a 73% free throw shooter at the line. Jason's first free throw is up, and it's good. Starks with one more free throw due. It is on its way. He sinks them both. He now has 4 points, and it's a 4-point Decatur Central lead with 4:30 left to go in the third quarter. Huffman to Barris, gets the ball right back, and now backs it out. Hawks back to the 2-3 zone. As Barris sings it back right side to Sims. Sims looked like he was going to throw it over the top. Instead went over to Jacob Malone. Finds Malone, free throw line. Bounces baseline, finds Jalen Bell. Bell gets the bucket, and he's going to head to the line on the personal foul committed by Decatur Central. Jason Starks will commit foul number 2. Second team foul against the Hawks, and at the line, Jalen Bell. Bell, an 84% free throw shooter for the season, and he gets the 3-point play. Bell with 9 points, and midway through the third quarter, it's a 1-point Hawk lead. Jimmy Lee trying to pass it to Lucas McNeil, stolen by Bell as Bell climbed the ladder. But Jimmy Lee there to block Jacob Barris and steal the ball out of midair, and then Barris commits the personal.
Subbing in for Decatur, number 15.
That'll be Barris' second, as Starks and Prada leave. Bennett and Helm back in for Coach Joe Prada. Hawks with the basketball up 36-35, 3:40 left to go third quarter. Jimmy Lee up top. This is TJ Helm. Helm drives the left side, leaves it off. CB Bennett, three from the corner is up and good. Bennett now with 7 points, and the lead's back to 4 for the Hawks. That matches their largest margin in this game. Neither team able to get any type of run. And a nice drive through the lane by Jacob Malone, as he just went right through the Hawk defense and gets the easy layup. Jimmy Lee gets bumped, still maintains his dribble, finds Johnson. Johnson, wraparound layup is good. 11 points for Johnson on a nifty little drive. 41-37 is our score. Here is Huffman, and Huffman wanted to pass the ball, or he couldn't decide whether to pass or shoot, but he went up just enough to break contact, and he's called for steps. Marcus Burke back in, as Huffman will take a seat with 10 points. 41-37, Decatur Central with the lead in the basketball, and 2:46 remains in the quarter. Jimmy Lee, nice little stop and go, pulls up the three, though, is no good. And Malone with a rebound. Jacob Malone, right side, finds Barris. Barris tried to leave a baseline pass for Jalen Bell. Bell couldn't quite hold on to the basketball, and it'll go back to Decatur Central. Adam Prada and Jason Starks back in. Jimmy Lee will leave, as will Lucas McNeil. Austin Keel in for the first time for the Flashes. He will take over for Jake Barris. 2:30 remains in the third quarter. A 4-point Hawk lead, 41-37. As Johnson running the point. Brings it into the front court. Makes a move, goes one-on-one, pull up 8-footer, rims out, no good. A whistle underneath as Jacob Malone grabbed the rebound, and we'll have a foul against the Hawks. Jason Starks will be called for his third personal. Second team foul against Decatur Central. 41-37, that's where we remain with 2:08 left to go in the quarter. Sims directs traffic, goes right side, finds Keel. Keel back to Sims. Sims, left-hand dribble, drives, kicks it into the corner. Three from Burke is on its way. Put back up and in on the nice little putback by Jacob Malone, and he's fouled on the putback. And we'll see who they call the foul against. The foul went against Adam Prada, his first, team foul number 3. And Malone at the line with a chance for the three-point play. A 62% free throw shooter. He cans it. 7 points for Jacob Malone, and the Hawk lead is down to a single point, 41-40. Bounce pass to Helm. Helm trying to find Starks. Mistimed his pass. Jacob Malone steals it. Flashes come the other way, and they steal it right back. Do the Hawks as Malone trying to get the baseline cut, stolen away by TJ Helm. Bennett finds Anthony Johnson. Johnson, right-hand floater, is short. Ball loose. Jacob Malone and Anthony Johnson will tie it up, and on the held ball, the ball will belong to Decatur Central. Lucas McNeil back in for the Hawks. He'll come in for TJ Helm. And Lucas Huffman is back in for the Flashes, as he will give Forrester Sims a break. Sims has played the majority of this contest. Prada to inbound from the baseline. Looks, and threw it right into the hands of Jalen Bell. He was looking for Anthony Johnson. Bell shot no good. Rebound comes off. Here is Huffman's three from the corner is up and good. Huffman with 9 points, and the Flashes are back out in front by 2, 43-41 as the lead changes hands once again. Prada three ball on its way is up and good, and just like that, the lead swings right back into the favor of the Hawks. 44-43, under a minute left to go third quarter. Jacob Malone, right side, gets the ball back, bounce pass to Jalen Bell, and he is going to get C.B. Bennett up in the air, and Bennett's going to be called for the personal foul. Nice little hesitation by Jalen Bell, and for C.B., that's his second personal, 14 foul against the Hawks in the second half. And Jalen Bell is at the line to shoot pair. Bell hits the first of two to put him in double figures in scoring with 10 points as Jimmy Lee re-enters the lineup for the Hawks, and Jason Starks will take a seat. Tied at 44, Jalen Bell at the line with one more free throw as Ben Truitt will be coming in for Franklin Central. Second free throw is also good. That puts the Flashes out in front as Jacob Malone will depart, and Ben Truitt will take his place. 45-44, Franklin Central with the lead. Hawks with the basketball. Anthony Johnson will take it, and we'll have a whistle away from the basketball as Truitt and McNeil tie up underneath the basket, and it'll be Ben Truitt, which picks up his first personal, 14 foul. Lee finds McNeil, and McNeil will give it to C.B. Bennett. Back to Jimmy Lee. Lee wants to give it down low. Nice bounce pass here is Prada, and Prada will be fouled as he made a run out by Austin Keel. And as he ran by him, Keel put a shoulder into him and be called for the foul. His first, team fifth. 30.9 seconds remain in the quarter. 45-44, the Flashes with the lead. The Hawks have the basketball. Let's see if they play for the final shot. Prada to Lee. Lee, baseline. Right-hand runner is up, too strong, and the rebound controlled by Truitt of the Flashes. And now it's Franklin Central with the basketball, a 1-point lead in the final shot of the quarter. 14 seconds remain in the quarter as Huffman directs the offense. Goes over to Keel. Back to Huffman. Huffman left side. Three-ball corner on its way by Marcus Burke is no good, and that's the end of the third quarter. Hawks led by one at the break. They trail by the one after three. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this. This is Hawks basketball on ASO.
For the latest news and events in the athletic department, as well as up-to-date schedules, you can also view all boys and girls basketball games live or on archive. Check out the link from our website. Also, follow us on Twitter at DCHS_athletics.
Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight on audiosportsonline.com as we head to quarter number 4. The Hawks trail the Franklin Central Flashes by the score of 45-44. To begin the fourth quarter, it'll be C.B. Bennett, Anthony Johnson, Jimmy Lee, Adam Prada, and Lucaeus McNeil, while the Flashes in blue have the basketball. Forrester Sims back in. He'll be joined by Jacob Malone, Lucas Huffman, Tyler Malone, and Jake Bears. Here's a steal by C.B. Bennett. Bennett races and lays it up off the glass and in. Bennett with 9 points, and the Hawks retake the lead, 46-45, and that's how we begin the fourth quarter. Looking to get a high ball screen switched off as the Hawks almost get the steal, and they do get the steal. Here's Johnson, lays it up, and flushes it down with the right hand. 13 points for Anthony Johnson. The Hawks extend the lead to 3, 48-45. And we have a timeout on the court, a 30-second timeout. As they say, it will be a 30-second timeout with 7 minutes and 16 seconds left to go, as the Hawks in 44 seconds went from trailing by 1 to leading by 3. As Anthony Johnson got the steal and finished it with a flush. He has 13 points, 11 points for Adam Preda, and 9 points for C.B. Bennett. For the Flashes, 11 points now from Jalen Bell, as he is the only Flash in double figures in scoring, and that's off the bench. 9 points for Lucas Huffman. Flashes in blue, Hawks in white, as you watch tonight's action on audiosportsonline.com. I'll give it up top to Huffman. Huffman down low, finds Tyler Malone baseline, and Malone finishes it off with an easy bucket. He now has 5 points, and the Hawks' lead has been trimmed to 1, 48-47. 6:53 left to go in regulation as Preda works on Huffman. Crosses over, gives it up to Anthony Johnson. Bounce pass, finds Lucius McNeil, blocked by Huffman. McNeil gets it back, tied up, but this time we'll get a whistle and a foul. And I thought they were going to tie up the basketball, but they're going to get Jacob Malone for the personal. It'll be the 6th team foul against the Flashes. Malone's second, Jacob Malone's second. Lee inbounds to Preda. 48-47, Hawks with a lead. Lee in the corner finds Preda once again, back to Lee. 3 ball on the way from the wing, that's no good. Crashing the boards is Tyler Malone. He has the rebound for Franklin Central. He gives it to Jacob Malone. Malone right side, almost stolen by Jimmy Lee. They were trying to get the ball into the corner to Jake Barris. Lee hustling back to the defensive end of the court, trying to get the steal, knocks it out of bounds. Sims will inbounds from the baseline. He'll get it into Tyler Malone. Hawks up by a point. Sims looks to almost pulled the trigger on a 3, instead brought it back down. As the Flashes move it around, they get it down to Malone. Malone back out. Here's Huffman out. Malone thought about a long jumper from the baseline, thought better of it. And now the ball is knocked out of bounds by C.B. Bennett as they tried to get the ball to Forrester Sims near the top of the key. And the Flashes will have the basketball, trailing by 1 with 5:59 left to go, fourth quarter. Lucas Huffman will depart. Jalen Bell, who leads the Flashes with 11 points, is back in for Coach John Rocky. Here's Jacob Malone. Nice little ball fake. Leans in and gets the bucket. 9 points for Malone. Jacob Malone, that is. And the Flash is back out in front by 1, 49-48. Preda to lead, back to Preda. Long range three, top of the key. That rims out, no good. Jacob Malone with a rebound. They give it to Sims. Stolen by Jimmy Lee. They tried to get the ball into the hands of Bell. Lee in transition lays it up, and a blocking foul is going to be called against Jacob Malone. Lee and Malone underneath, and the call goes against the Flashes as Jacob Malone picks up foul number 3. More importantly, it's the 7th team foul against the Flashes as Jimmy Lee is at the line to shoot 2. Lee, a 58% free throw shooter on the season, hits the first of 2. Lee quiet so far in this contest. He hit a 3 in the second quarter, and until that free throw, that's about all. That has been his only other point. He hits them both. He now has 5, and the Hawks retake the lead 50-49 with 5:24 left in regulation. Barris gives it to Sims. Sims looked about throwing it down to Malone. Instead, they reversed the ball. Bell back out. 3-ball Jake Barris is off the side of the rim. No good. Jimmy Lee with a rebound. Lee into the front court, waits for his teammates now. Left-hand dribble. Nice little pass fake, but he can't finish the layup. And Tyler Malone has the rebound for the Flashes. He'll give it to Forrester Sims. Sims to Tyler Malone. Left side, this is Jalen Bell at the wing, guarded by Jimmy Lee. They find underneath Tyler Malone, trying a bit of a alley-oop, but the pass was a little hard, and it goes through Malone's hands out of bounds, and the ball goes back into the hands of the Hawks, up by 1. Hawks in the bonus. Decatur Central with only 14 fouls in this half. 4:38 left to go in regulation. Anthony Johnson loses it, finds Jimmy Lee. 3-ball from the corner, rattles around but comes right back out, and Sims has the rebound. Sims down low to Malone, finds Jacob Malone driving the lane. Jacob Malone can't finish off the play, but he'll earn a trip to the free throw line, as the foul will go against Adam Prada, his second, team's 5th. So Jacob Malone, 1-of-1 from the line. He has 9 points in the game. First free throw is good, and he's now in double figures with 10, with one more free throw due. Tied at 50 as Lucas Huffman comes back in. He'll come in for Jake Barris. Barris leaves with 6 points. He had 2 long-range bombs in the first quarter, but has been scoreless since. Tied at 50, Malone with one more free throw. And gets the kind roll. He now has 11. And the Flash's lead is 51-50 with 4:20 in regulation left to go. Prada finds McNeil. McNeil back out to Johnson. Johnson to Prada. They'll find Jimmy Lee over in the left wing, back to Prada, and they move the ball around. Johnson, quick 3 on its way. Shot no good. Jacob Malone with a rebound for Franklin Central. Flashes with the basketball and a 1-point lead. Under 4 minutes left to go, and now Sims expecting Jacob Malone to cut back toward the timeline. Instead, Malone cut toward the basket, and the ball's thrown out of bounds. And with that, we are going to have a timeout on the court called by Decatur Central. 3 minutes, 54 seconds left to go in regulation. Franklin Central leads Decatur Central by the score of 51-50. This is Hawks basketball on ASO.
Royal Spa, Joe's Motorway, Tire Barn Warehouse, and Edwards Drive-In. To get information about corporate sponsorship or to advertise in the Hawks Sport magazine, please contact Ms. Kelly McWilliams in the DCHS Athletic Office, 856-2109. Please support all of the local business who advertise in our sports magazine, which is available at all home contests.
Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight on AudioSportsOnline.com. 3 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in regulation, and the Hawks find themselves trailing Franklin Central by the score of 51-50. As we mentioned coming into this game, Franklin Central only 7-8 on the season, but a team that has always given the Hawks problems. In fact, over the last 15 years, Franklin Central owns a commanding 15-3 record against the Hawks. And right now, it's the Flashes with a 1-point lead with 3 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in regulation. Hawks have the basketball. Prada, Johnson, Lee, McNeil, and Bennett, the 5 on the court for head coach Joe Prada. It is Sims, Huffman, Bell, Jacob, and Tyler Malone. Those are the 5 for Coach John Rocky. Left side, Anthony Johnson. As the Hawks trying to be patient as they look over now a 2-3 zone employed by the Flashes. Lob into McNeil, stolen away by Tyler Malone, and the Flashes have the basketball looking to build on a 1-point lead. Sims, Jacob Malone drives left side of the lane, lays it up with the left hand, and a little too easy right there for Jacob Malone as he gets the easy layup down the left side of the lane. Jason Stark set to check back in for the Hawks on the next dead ball as we approach the 3-minute mark left to go in regulation, and Decatur Central trails by 3. Lee's 3 is short. McNeil with a rebound sends it back out to Prada. Prada to Lee. One bounce, throws it off the glass, up and in by Jimmy Lee. 7 points for Lee, a 1-point Flashes lead. Here's Sims, and as he makes a move, C.B. Bennett's going to be called for the personal foul. Bennett with his 3rd personal, 16th foul called against the Hawks. So this one will be played from out of bounds. It'll be Sims triggering the inbounds from the baseline for Franklin Central, up by 1 with 2:40. Lob into Bells, too high, stolen by Johnson. Johnson lays it over the rim with 2 hands. Another transition basket for Decatur Central on an errant pass by the Flashes. And the Hawks retake the lead, 54-53. 2:24 left to go in regulation. Huffman left side. Finds Jacob Malone. Malone drives baseline and gets the bucket. Malone making some very strong moves to the cup. And so far the Hawks haven't been able to stop him. As the Flashes retake the lead, 55-54. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson in the lane. Right-hander, put it up, count the bucket, and send him to the line. Foul will go against Lucas Huffman, his second, team's 8th. Johnson with the bucket and 1 as he heads to the free throw line. He is 2 of 4 from the line in this contest. And that one is short. 17 points for Johnson and a 1-point Hawk lead. As now the ball is loose, Jacob Malone and Anthony Johnson bang together, and they'll say the ball went off of Johnson and belonged to Franklin Central as Jake Barris back in for the Flashes. Tyler Malone is out. They get Forrester Sims. Sims on the wing. Huffman thought about the 3, instead sends it around. They feed down low, and trying to deny the entry pass was Anthony Johnson, but he's going to foul Jacob Malone in the process.
Foul on number 24, Anthony Johnson. Now subbing in
His third, team 7th, as Bennett leaves and Jason Stark comes in. It was the 7th foul, so they'll say that Malone's at the line shooting the 1-and-1. And he misses that one, rebounded by Lucaeus McNeil. 1:40 left in regulation. Decatur Central up by 1, 56-55. And as Prada hands the ball off to Anthony Johnson, Coach Joe Prada will call a timeout. 1:35 left to go in regulation. It's Decatur Central 56, Franklin Central 55. This is Hawks basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Brian Scott back at Decatur Central High School as the Hawks and the Flashes have been hooked up in what we would call a good old good one. Neither team has led by more than 4 or 5 points. They have traded leads back and forth all night long. And with 1:35 left in regulation, it's the Hawks that own the 1-point lead, 56-55. However, it has been Jacob Malone here for the Flashes in this fourth quarter, as he has scored 8 points. That has kept the Flashes well within striking distance. But right now the Hawks have the basketball up by 1, 1:30 left. Johnson almost loses it. Has to give it to somebody. 5 seconds, and they'll call double dribble. Johnson thinking that it was hit by the defender, so he was able to gain his dribble back. And 2 officials say, no, that's not the case. He lost it first. And the ball goes back to Franklin Central. 1:20 left to go in regulation. 56-55, Hawks lead. Jacob Malone, 8 points in the quarter, makes a drive in the lane. Nowhere to go, gives it to Sims. Sims guarded by Johnson. 1:08 left to go in regulation. Right side to Jalen Bell, back to Jacob Malone. Malone fronted by Prada. Ball is tied up, and now a whistle and a foul is going to be called against the Hawks, and that's going to send the Flashes to the line for the 1-and-1. It'll go against Jason Starks, his 4th, team 8th.
40, Jason
And Jacob Malone, who is 3 of 4 from the line, is at the line for the 1-and-1. 8-team foul, 1 minute exactly left on the clock. A 60-second show. Both teams with 18 fouls apiece. That free throw hits the rim and falls in, and we're tied at 56. .60 seconds remain. We're tied at 56. Jacob Malone trying to give the Flashes the 1-point lead. Back end of the 1-and-1 is in the air. He canned it. And the Flashes now are out in front of the Hawks, 57-56, as a timeout is called. A full timeout called by John Rocky of Franklin Central. And with 60 seconds left to go in the regulation, it's Decatur Central trailing Franklin Central by the score of 57-56. This is Hawks basketball on audiosportsonline.com. Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight on audiosportsonline.com. We've had one whale of a basketball game as we have 60 seconds remaining in regulation. And once again, the lead has changed hands as it's the Flashes out in front of the Hawks, 57-56. Jacob Malone with 10 points in the quarter. He just hit both ends of the 1-and-1 to give the Flashes the lead. And the Hawks have the basketball. It'll be Prada, Bennett, Lee, Johnson, and McNeil on the court. As Adam Prada is in the front court. Gives it to Anthony Johnson. 48 seconds left to go. Johnson works, drives down the lane, runs into 4 blue-clad Flashes, and a whistle and a foul is going to be called against Franklin Central. Foul will go against Lucas Huffman, his third, team 9th. They'll say this is a 2-shot foul, and Johnson's at the line for a pair. The 43.8 seconds remain in the game. Johnson's first free throw is up. It's good. Ties the score at 57. Jason Starks back in. Starks with 4 personals back in. The CB Bennett heads to the bench. Johnson at the line can give the Hawks the lead with a free throw, and he does. 58-57. Hawks with a lead. 42 seconds remain in regulation. Flashes with the basketball. Sims. Tyler Malone with the basketball, left side. Huffman for 3. Hits it, and a foul. A foul after the basket. The three-pointer is good. As Huffman hits the 3, the foul, though, goes against the Flashes. So we will head to the other end of the court for the 2 shots because it's the 10th team foul. Foul was called against Tyler Malone, his 4th. He was jostling for position with Adam Prada. And Prada misses the first. It's a 2-point Flashes lead. So look for now Decatur Central to foul. They'll probably try to get some defense. Prada's second free throw is good. Now the Hawks will back into half-court offense, and now here comes the trap. They get it to Jacob Malone. Malone right side. Jalen Bell drives baseline. Blocked from behind by Starks. Ball is loose. McNeil has the rebound. 17 seconds remain. Hawks trail by 1. Jimmy Lee to Adam Prada. Here's Anthony Johnson in the lane. A whistle and a foul. 9.9 seconds remain. And Anthony Johnson is at the line with the Hawks trailing by 2. That will foul out Tyler Malone, his fifth. He leaves with 5 points. 9.9 seconds remain, and Anthony Johnson is at the line. 1 will tie it, 2 will give the Hawks the lead. Malone fouls out. Jake Barris back in for Coach John Rocky. So a rather interesting chain of events here in these final 30, 40 seconds. The made 3, but the foul underneath after the basket. Johnson at the line. First free throw is good. We're tied. $20 points for Anthony Johnson. Timeout called by the Flashes with 9 and 9/10 seconds remaining. All tied up at 60. The Hawks with 18 fouls. So the Flashes would be shooting the 1-and-1 at their end. Meanwhile, Franklin Central has committed 10 team fouls, so the Hawks are in the double bonus. Hawks looking to extend what is a 3-game winning streak and excellent momentum. Flashes looking to continue their dominance over Decatur Central. And we have 9 and 9/10 seconds to find out what it's going to be. Or we could be headed to overtime. We're tied at 60, but Anthony Johnson will be at the line to try to give the Hawks the lead. Brian Scott here at Decatur Central High School in what's been a beauty of a basketball game tonight. The lead has exchanged hands more times than I've got fingers to count. And for Anthony Johnson and the Hawks, they are going to hope that it can change one more time, as he will be at the line looking to give the Hawks the lead with 9 and 9/10 seconds. The Hawks are going to have to put somebody on the line. They've now got McNeil and Lee. And Johnson to put the Hawks ahead from the line. Free throws on its way. Hits it. Hawks lead 61-60. 9 and 9/10 seconds remain. They get the ball into Sims' hands. Forster Sims with the basketball. 5 seconds. Loses it. It's on the court. Prada gets it and calls timeout. The coach's son pulls off a heady play. He gets the basketball. Sims lost it off his foot. And Prada chased it down. And as soon as he got possession of it, quickly called timeout before he could slide out of bounds on the sideline. And the Hawks will have the basketball up by 1 with 2 and 3/10 seconds left to go in this basketball game. The Flashes had a chance. Forster Sims with the basketball, but he dribbled it off of his foot. As Antoine Jackson getting ready to come back in for Franklin Central. And the Hawks will be looking for the immediate foul. Double bonus is in effect, but for Franklin Central, no choice in the matter. 2 free throws still makes this a 1-possession game as Decatur Central leads 61-60. 2 and 3/10 seconds remain. As Johnson's free throw gives them the lead, and Prada, as Coach Joe Prada points to his head and looks to the stands, and that's my boy, he's pretty smart. Jimmy Lee will inbound it for Decatur Central. And there will be some pressure employed by Franklin Central. They get it to Johnson. Johnson with a basketball, fouled. And 0.8 of a second remain, and Johnson's going to the line. Foul called against Jalen Bell, his second. And Anthony Johnson with 21 points, 10 of them coming here in this fourth quarter, will be at the line. Now we'll have a discussion by the officials in the free throw lane, as Decatur Central has cleared the lane. And they will put a few tenths of a second back on the clock. They'll put it to 1.2 seconds remain on the clock. They want to put 1.2 seconds. I'm not sure they can add. Yes, they do. 1.2 seconds remain. Johnson at the line. It's still, even if he hits two, a one-possession game. He hits the first.
It's good.
One more free throw. We'll see if Johnson sinks it or misses it on purpose. He sinks it. And that's going to cause Coach John Rocky to call a timeout with 1 2/10 seconds remain. Hawks up by 3. But the Flashes with one more opportunity. So we'll see how these two teams strategize this final 1.2 seconds. As the final 45 seconds of this game from the three-pointer by Lucas Huffman, but the foul called after the made three that sent the Hawks to the other end. And then both teams battling back and forth, and Anthony Johnson coming up big from the free throw line down the stretch. He has made 6 of 7 from the free throw line here in the fourth quarter alone to go with his 23 points. The Hawks will play their defense back, so they're going to bring Lucaeus McNeil to guard the inbound. The man inbounding the basketball, so they'll put McNeil on Marcus Burke, because Burke's going to have to throw it almost the length of the court. Throws it in. It's going to be intercepted. Anthony Johnson will throw it up, and that's the basketball game. An entertaining basketball game between these two teams. And Decatur Central hits their free throws down the stretch. They will knock off Franklin Central tonight by the score of 63-60. Hang in there for a few minutes. We'll have final stats in just a moment. This is Hawks basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Welcome back to Decatur Central High School. Brian Scott with you tonight as Decatur Central holds off Franklin Central. They win this basketball game by the score of 63-60, a game that went back and forth all night long. No team up more than 5 points in this contest, and it was free throws down the stretch that allows the Hawks to come away with the victory tonight. Let's give you our final stats for tonight's game. First off, for the visiting Franklin Central Flashes, 17 points from Jacob Malone, and Jacob had 10 of those in the fourth quarter. 12 points from Lucas Huffman, 11 points from Jalen Bell, 6 points from Jake Barris, 5 points each from Forrester Sims and Tyler Malone. Malone fouls out of this game with just 5 points on the night. 2 points for Marcus Burke as well as Antoine Jackson. And playing and not scoring tonight were Austin Keel and Ben Truitt. For the victorious Decatur Central Flashes, or Decatur Central Hawks, over the Flashes tonight, 23 points from Anthony Johnson, 12 points from Adam Preda. And Preda with a excellent heady play there at the end to get the basketball for the Hawks and help preserve this victory. 9 points, from C.B. Bennett, 7 points from Jimmy Lee, 4 points each from T.J. Helm, Jason Stark, and Lucius McNeil. We were tied at 13 after the end of the first period. Decatur Central up by 1, 28-27 at the break. That flipped at the end of 3 quarters as Franklin Central up by 1, 48-44. And the Hawks outscore the Flashes 19-15 in the fourth quarter and come away with a 63-60 victory tonight. For the Franklin Central Flashes, the loss drops them to 7-9 on the season. For the Hawks, their 4th win in a row. They're now 12-5 on the season. Our next broadcast of Hawks basketball will be next Saturday as the Hawks travel to Brownsburg to take on the Bulldogs from Brownsburg in what could be an intersectional preview. It will be Rob Kendall with the call. Tip-off set for 7:30, and that's on audiosportsonline.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. This is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining me. Once again, your final score. Decatur Central with the victory. They knock off Franklin Central by the score of 63-60. Until next time, so long, everybody.